Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. We're going to do something a little different this week. It's going to be classic rock week all week. Uh, I know we usually do jazz and then we do rock and then we do something fun. All week, classic rock. And today we're going to look at an artist we have talked about before and I've mentioned a number of times on this show. And I always refer back to his 1970s albums because it ties in with a lot of the musicians we have. But he performed right up until his passing. He was recording albums, 23 albums altogether. And we're going to look at the 20th album. I just received a DVD copy of it. And we're talking about Joe Cocker, and the album is Hymn for My Soul. Now, yeah, we talked about Cocker back in the days when Mad Dog's an Englishman. He was with Leon Russell, some wild and raunchy days back then. But Joe continued to perform on through and record. And as he got older, the recordings were still just as meaningful as they were back in those days. I mean, his choice of material, sure, it changed a bit, but he still was doing Beatles tunes. Remember, first album, With a Little Help from My Friends, that was his big tune. Second album, Cocker, She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. And if you watch Cocker or listen to Cocker on the streaming networks, you also get a bonus track of him doing a version of Let It Be, which, I mean, was just classic. I don't know why it wasn't on the original album. His phrasing in that and the way he performs it, just excellent. So Cocker and the Beatles have always had a connection. He still carries that through into 2007 when this album came out. 20th album. Give you some idea what's on it. And again, he uses a real cross-section of music from a lot of different composers. First song is You Haven't Done Nothing by Stevie Wonder. And on this one, what's nice is he's actually got a horn section backing him. Some LA studio guys. We've got Greg Adams on trumpet, Chuck Finley, who we mentioned before, on trumpet, and Tom Scott. I mean, mentioned him with Blues Brothers, Joni Mitchell when they did the Miles of Isles, LA figurehead there on saxophone. One word piece, Love Is For Me, Don't Give Up On Me, Long As I Can See the Light, the old CCR song, John Fogerty's tune. And again, just an excellent rendition of that he does here. He's also got on keyboards Ben Montench from Tom Petty's Heartbreakers. So he's got another couple of people sitting in that are interesting. Beware of Darkness by George Harrison, right from the All Things Must Pass album. So he's still connecting back to the Beatles there. Just Pass It On by Daniel Moore. We got River's Invitation by Percy Mayfield. Ring Them Bells by Bob Dylan. Great tune. And if you remember, he did Dylan before too, right? Watching the River Flow, Dear Landlord. Again, this is a person he goes back to often to touch base with. Hymn for My Soul, Andy Fairweather Low. I remember I mentioned his name just a couple weeks ago in connection with Eric Clapton, and he had performed with Clapton quite a bit. So not only does he end up getting the song on here, but they also do an instrumental version at the end to wrap it up. So Andy Fairweather Low in on this one. And the last tune here, a bonus track, Come Together. Well, we're back with the Beatles again from the Abbey Road, right? Only this one, we got T-Bone Burnett sitting in on baritone guitar. We've got, T-Bone Burnett producing it as well. And T-Bone Walk, different one on guitar and bass. The last, I guess there were two other albums off this before Joe passed. So we're getting near the end of his career at this point, but he's still turning out some great material. A little more mature, a little different take on it. It's not that wild and crazy Mad Dogs and Englishmen kind of style that he was performing. A lot of the demons behind him at this point, and it was just a great album. If you get a chance, it's probably all in the streaming networks there. I know the hard copies are available. I've got it downloaded from iTunes way back, so you know it's around there. Streaming networks, I would assume so, because right, it's all his stuff, and this is a very current album to look at. But don't forget to check out the Cocker one if you want to hear a great Beatles rendition of Let It Be. So that's it for Monday. We're kicking off Classic Rock Week with a revisitation of one of the great artists of my generation, Joe Cocker. Check him out. We'll see you on Wednesday when we're going to look at an event that happened in response to an epidemic, and it's going to be a DVD presentation, but another great concert to check up on. So hopefully we'll see you then. Till Wednesday, everybody take care, stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.